The smartest student in your class is not smarter than you. That is not a feel-good line. That is a fact backed by science, psychology, and every top performer who has ever been honest about how they actually got there. They are not naturally gifted. They are not studying longer hours than everyone else. They are not sacrificing sleep and a social life just to stay ahead. They are running a completely different system. A system most students never get taught, never stumble upon, and never even know exists. That system is exactly what this video is about. Stay until the end, because every single piece of this matters. The first thing that separates a top student from everyone else has nothing to do with a textbook. It starts inside the mind, long before any studying begins. Most struggling students carry a quiet belief that learning is hard for them specifically, that other people just get it faster, that no matter how much effort they put in, they will always be a step behind. That belief feels true. It is not. Your brain is not a fixed machine locked at a certain speed. It is more like a muscle. The more you train it the right way, the stronger and faster it becomes. Top students have internalized this completely. They do not approach a difficult topic with dread. They approach it with curiosity. Instead of thinking, "I cannot solve this," they ask, "What am I missing here?" That shift from fear to curiosity is not a small thing. It rewires how your brain processes information. Curiosity opens neural pathways. Fear closes them. Choose curiosity every single time, and your brain will start working for you, instead of against you. Now let us get into how top students actually study, because this is where most people are losing, without even knowing it. The typical student sits down, opens a textbook, reads through several pages, highlights a few sentences, closes the book, and feels like they have done the work. They have not. Reading is not learning. Passive exposure to information does not build memory. It just creates the illusion of progress. Top students use a completely different approach, called active recall, combined with spaced repetition. After reading a topic, they close the book and force themselves to remember what they just covered. No peeking, no hints, pure mental retrieval. This act of pulling information out of memory, even when it is difficult, is what makes that information stick long term. Then they return to the same material the next day, again a week later, and once more after a month. Each time they revisit it, the memory strengthens. Each review session drives the knowledge deeper, until it becomes automatic. And throughout every session, they ask why. Not just what does this mean, but why does it work this way? Where else does this apply? How does this connect to something I already know? That questioning habit builds a network of understanding, rather than a pile of disconnected facts. Networks survive exam pressure. Disconnected facts collapse under it. Exams are where the real separation happens, and top students approach them with a strategy that most students never consider. They do not just study the subject. They study the exam itself. Every test has patterns. Every teacher has topics they return to repeatedly. Every exam paper has a logic behind which questions get asked and how they get framed. Top students reverse engineer all of it. They go through past papers methodically. They track which topics appear most frequently. They identify the types of questions that cause students to lose marks. They study common mistakes so they never make them. And then they add one more layer that almost no one else does. They rehearse the exam mentally before it happens. They sit quietly, close their eyes, and walk themselves through the experience of being in that exam room, reading each question calmly, knowing exactly what to write, moving through the paper with confidence and control. Repeated mental rehearsal like this conditions the brain to treat the real exam as familiar territory. The anxiety drops. The performance rises. That is not coincidence. That is preparation at its deepest level. Memory is the engine behind every strong academic performance, and most students are running theirs at about 10% capacity. The reason is simple. The brain does not store random facts efficiently. It stores stories, emotions, images, and connections. So the students who remember everything are the ones who stop trying to memorize and start trying to experience the information. They turn a formula into a visual scene. They attach a historical date to a dramatic story. They link a scientific concept to something they already love or find funny. the stranger and more vivid the mental association, the stronger the memory becomes. Combine this with deep, distraction-free focus, and the results compound fast. Top students do not study for 5 hours, with their phone buzzing every 10 minutes. They study in focused bursts of 25 to 40 minutes, with complete non-negotiable silence. During those windows, the brain operates at full absorption capacity. Every minute of that kind of focus outperforms an hour of distracted, scattered reading. Protect those focus windows, like they are the most valuable time in your day, because when it comes to building academic performance, they genuinely are. Underneath all the strategies and techniques, what actually sustains a top student over time is their daily habits. These habits are not dramatic. They are quiet, consistent, and compounding. Waking up slightly earlier gives the brain a calm, fresh window to absorb new material before the noise of the day takes over. Regular physical movement, even something as simple as a 20-minute walk, has been shown to directly improve memory retention and mental focus. Quality sleep is non-negotiable. During sleep, the brain consolidates everything learned during the day and moves it into long-term memory. Cutting sleep to study more is one of the most counterproductive decisions a student can make. Reading something outside the curriculum every day, even for 15 minutes, keeps the brain sharp and builds a breadth of knowledge that shows up in unexpected and powerful ways inside the classroom. And every evening, spending just a few minutes reflecting on what was learned and what could be done better the next day keeps improvement happening automatically, quietly, and continuously. The final piece is one most students overlook. Top students use the people around them as an accelerator for their own learning. They explain topics to classmates out loud. They discuss ideas. They debate interpretations. The reason this works so well is that the act of explaining forces the brain to organize information clearly. Every gap in understanding surfaces immediately the moment you try to teach something to someone else. If you cannot explain it simply, you do not know it well enough yet. Teaching sharpens understanding faster than any other method. Beyond that, top students listen to their teachers differently. They are not just absorbing content. They are actively tracking patterns. Which topics get mentioned more than once? Which examples get used to illustrate a point? Which questions the teacher asks the class? These are not random. They are signals. And the students who are tuned into those signals walk into exams with an edge that purely solo studying cannot give them. Here is the bottom line. Everything covered in this video is a system. A learnable, repeatable, proven system that has nothing to do with natural intelligence and everything to do with intentional habits and deliberate strategy. The gap between where you are now and where the top students in your class are is not talent. It is a method. And methods can be learned starting today. Pick one thing from this video and apply it before the day is over. Not next week. Not tomorrow. Today. One focused study session. One round of active recall. One mental rehearsal before your next exam. Start there. Build from there. The results will follow, and they will follow faster than you expect.